Has anyone ever asked you to such an in-depth level as to what it is that you want out of life? But even you yourself specifically, have you ever asked yourself when you are perhaps in, I say, solitary confinement, when you were essentially on your own, have you ever asked yourself, what is it that you want out of life? Because it's all well and good living vicariously for other people and trying to people please and make other certain individuals happy and make our parents proud and conform to societal norms, which is what we're used to doing, monkey see, monkey do. And that's all well and good. But have you ever asked yourself, what is it that you want to gain out of life? What profession, what career, what fields, what goals, what aspirations do you have? Not what your mother wants, not what your best mate does, or, well, because a vast majority of the populace go to university, and even though I have no idea what I want to do, I'm just going to get into that and go to university. Rather than copying what other people do, what is it that you want? And unfortunately, we live in a society where it's very common, it's very easy to fall into the trap of, I want to do X, Y, Z. I just want to have a nice, cushy, steady career with steady income because that's what I was taught. That's what I've been brainwashed into doing. And look, I'm not here to look down upon average people. I'm never, ever going to do that. Average people make the economy tick. Average people are cogs in the machine, not in a negative way at all. It's just the reality of life. And if you are content with that, and if you are happy with that, no problem at all. Some of the most amazing people that I've ever met in terms of their character, in terms of their values, they just have regular 9-to-5s, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I've had regular 9-to-5s as well. My issue is this, and I know for a fact this resonates with you because you're currently watching this video and you're either subscribed or you watch these types of videos, and it's this: you're not content. You may be an average individual now. You might even be below average. It's not an issue. As I've always mentioned, it's the issue is never where you are today, but rather the track that you're on, where you're headed. The issue isn't that. You're watching this video because even though you might be average or below average today, inherently, you have a different ambition. You're an ambitious individual. There is something that's nagging you. There's something that's bugging you. And even though you might trick yourself and convince yourself that, no, this is fine, this is exactly what parents wanted. I went to university, I got my nice degree, I got my 2-1, and now I have a nice regular 9-to-5 and I can hopefully work my way up the corporate ladder and mummy and daddy's very happy with me. That's all well and good. That's them because that's them projecting their values, their views, and the way that they want you to live. Because at the end of the day, they want the best for you because they want security for you, which is very understandable. But that's not what you want. It's not what you want. And I know that's not what you want because you're watching this video. I know that's not what you want because you watch channels like these. And I know that you don't fall into the vast majority of people. I know that you're not looking to live a mediocre life. And as I said, there's nothing wrong with that. But have you ascertained what it is that you really want? What is it that you really want? I've always said I would rather live until the age of 70 to 75, but I have fulfilled when I say fulfill your potential, fulfill your potential. You can never fulfill your potential, I believe, as a human being, but you've experienced so much. You've gone through good experiences, bad experiences, you've overcome trauma, you've traveled to so many places, you've tried different professions and careers, and you've always ticked off those boxes. And you sit there at age 70, 75, and you look and you reflect upon your life, and you're so proud because you have no regrets. Even though you were fearful, you attempted it anyway. Even though the naysayers were negative and they criticised and people said no and you got rejected all the time and you fell flat on your face and people laughed at you and you got ridiculed and you were humiliated, you still went for it anyway. You took the risk and you lost a lot of money. You weren't very risk averse. But you can sit there and you can smile. Because you, in your hearts of hearts, you pursued after what you wanted. You aggressively, in a belligerent manner, in a good way, you pursued after what you wanted. In comparison to the individual that's 100, but he was wrapped up in cotton wool the entire time. I mean, what kind of a life is that? What kind of a life is that? And he sits there at age 100, fantastic, you've lived up to a century. But have you really fulfilled what you've wanted to fulfill? And most likely the answer is no. The sad reality is we're all going to pass away one day. A lot of this would have been meaningless. A lot of this would have been meaningless. So what's wrong with pursuing new experiences? Especially if you're a young man, especially if you're 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, early 20s, even mid 20s. If you have the money and you've always had the desire to travel to South America and travel around Africa or travel around the continent of Europe, and you have a bit of money and you have capital stashed away and you're a young man or a young lady, why not? Why not? Why don't you go and book it? Go and do it, because I know it's so corny, I know it's so cliche to say, but tomorrow is never guaranteed. It really isn't. You could be dead this time in 6 months. You just don't know. If I told you that regardless of what's going to happen, this time in 18 months you were going to pass away, starting from tomorrow, you would live your life completely differently. Your paradigms would shift, your perspectives would change, your outlook of life would be completely different. You would disregard what other people would think of you or any of their thoughts and opinions. You couldn't care less. You couldn't care less. You would stop being self-conscious. You would stop having anxiety. You would do what you wanted to do. You would start to become selfish because you know that you don't have that much time. But who's to say you have 18 months? Who's to say you have tomorrow? You know, as humans, we fall into this trap of, oh, it's almost like we believe we're guaranteed to live until we're 80 and 90. It's never a guarantee. Who told you it's a guarantee? It's never a guarantee. You have to live as if it's not a guarantee, because that is the truth. It's never a guarantee. Prioritize yourself. Far too long, for too many years, you've put forward and you've disregarded what you personally wanted for the sake of what other people wanted for you. Most people go to university. So you know what? This is what I'm going to do. Rather than taking a gap year to evaluate my options, I'm just going to go to university and study a random degree that where, when I get out of university, go into a profession or a field that has no relevance to my degree whatsoever, because, you know, society and education told me that I need to go to university. I mean, what kind of backward logic is that? And I'm not inherently against university. I'm really not. I know I didn't. I have many friends that went to university. It's not an issue. And actually, as a matter of fact, I had a conversation about university and just about careers and fields with a mate earlier. I met up with an old friend, and we actually spoke this in length. We spoke about this in length, and he went to university. I didn't go to university, and I always said to me, and I proposed it to him, I said, look, when people leave school at the age of 18, whether they decide to pursue university, further education or not, most people don't even think. Most people don't even think. And most people that do degrees, they come out and they go into fields that has no relevance to their degree whatsoever. Why don't they take the time out, perhaps a gap year or just some few weeks and months, and they can ascertain exactly what it is they want out of life, what it is they want to do in terms of a career? And he turned around and he said, yeah, I mean, most people don't think about it. Most people don't understand. Most people just go along with it because everyone else does it. But again, how backwards is that? How brainwashed have you become that you just copy and follow along and, oh, it's always a backup option? Well, that's all well and good, but job security doesn't really exist. You can be sacked like that tomorrow. Honestly, the company might become insolvent. You might have been stitched up and you might have been let go. Performances may have dropped. Circumstances may arise. You never know what's going to happen. So there's no such thing as job security and there's always a backup option. It's not true, especially when most people have degrees and you've got universities popping up left, right and centre. I know I'm using education as one example. But when it comes to risks, especially as a young man, you shouldn't be risk averse. You really shouldn't be risk averse, because this is the time to take risk. Great, you invest 50 grand, you lose it tomorrow. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. You probably should have been a bit smarter, a bit more strategic. You've lost all the money. That's fine. But at least you pursued after what you wanted, and now you can take lessons from that. You're not going to make that mistake at age 35, 40 when you're happily married. It's just not going to happen. This is a time that you're never going to get back ever again. Pursue what you really want. Don't listen and, oh, but my uncle wants me to become a lawyer and enter into this firm. That's fantastic. Law is a fantastic profession, but is it what you really want? That is the main question you have to ask yourself. And that is the message that I'm going to be delivering and that I've delivered for you today. If that makes sense for you, if you derive value from it, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, leave me your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below, and I'll see all of you guys for my next video. Peace.